So when I have people, when I do these retreats on pineal gland activation, I have these people who are very curious and keep asking me over and over again, will I open my third eye in this retreat? A retreat for, let's say, a weekend, a week, or 10 days, or 15 days, or a month. So in this short span of time, will I be open to, really will I open my third eye? The answer is very simple. Yes. And the answer is also maybe. The answer is also no. I'll tell you, I'll explain this to you why. See, in our present civilization, the pineal gland for one, let's understand this. The pineal gland, or the third eye, or the Agnya chakra is just another gland in our body, like the thyroid gland, like the adrenaline gland, like the thymus, etc., etc. Now, the problem with this particular gland is that this gland has been, let's say, underdeveloped in almost everybody in our current civilization. Underdeveloped and also atrophied. When we don't use something, it becomes smaller, it becomes shrinks. Like we don't use our arms, they shrinks, become smaller and weaker. Exactly like that, our pineal gland has also become weaker, and not just weaker, it has calcified. It has become hardened. Why? Because of two factors. One is our physical environment. As our civilization has progressed, we have created these conditions, we have integrated certain things into our ecosystem that are really harmful to our pineal gland in specific. Our water is heavily fluorinated. We use fluoride in our toothpaste. We have pesticides, a huge amount of pesticides in our food. We have in our soil, there is fertilizers which are made of chemicals which don't really serve us. We use a whole lot of aluminum in our packaging. We use a whole lot of sodium in our preservatives in our food. So everything we are consuming, our environment is polluted by fumes of vehicle pollution. Everything is so polluted that when you dissect a human being, a boy who is 12 years of age or more, you will find that the pineal gland is hardened. It is meant to be soft, but it has become hard because of our consumption patterns. Very few really are immune to this because it's so prevalent. Our soil is degraded, our food is different, our water sources are different. So everything is in that space. So almost everybody, unless who is really far away, living in the Himalayas, or a source of water which is pure, coming straight from the mountains, or making his own organic food and living in a very different organic lifestyle, everybody's pineal gland has become hard. Now, to decalcify it, there are certain steps one needs to take. Okay. Number two, as a functional part of our being, the pineal gland helps us to see visions, right? But in our civilization, no importance has been given to things like our imagination, things like visions that we see. I remember as a child, if I were to just sit, do nothing, and just daydream, just look up into the sky, or with eyes closed or eyes open, people would just tell me, why are you wasting your time? Because it was seen as a non-productive part of my life, just spending away time, just imagining or being in this realm of imagination or lucid dreaming or dreams. These are not given any importance. So since it's not been given any importance, we have not used this part of our functioning part of our being. Since we have not used it, it is like I told you, if we don't use our arm for let's say a decade, what will happen? It will become very small, very weak. Like that, a pineal gland is also very weak. It needs some stimulation. So when you come to a retreat or a boot camp, what happens is that in these few days, you are pushed to the limit. Your pineal gland is pushed to the limit physically and otherwise, given too much stimulation so that it wakes up. It starts to do its function. It's like you're going to a boot camp to, let's say, strengthen yourself up, become a strong person. So you go to the boot camp. In the boot camp, will you become strong? The answer is yes and no. Yes, you are pushed to the limit, you will start to feel pain, but the point is that you integrate the practices and habits into habits in when you go away from your boot camp. But in your boot camp you learn, you get to get an idea of what it feels like to have a strong body, to have a strong more endurance, etc. Exactly like that, this retreat is going to be like a boot camp for your pineal gland, where it's pushed, where it's cajoled, where it's stimulated, where it's you know awakened, where it's kicked and activated. So you will find an experience of what it feels like to have a third eye open or your pineal gland active, but it will take you dedicated effort and practice, consistent practice, for you to take back all the things you've learned in the boot camp, take back and practices, meditations, breath work, many other things that you take back from here and practice it on a day-to-day basis. The more you do it, the more stronger will your ability or your sixth sense become. The more prominent your pineal gland will be, the more functioning it will be. So the question, the answer is that yes, for sure you will have an experience, something that you have never experienced in your life before, an opening of the pineal gland you have never experienced in your life before, an access to the other dimension like you have never experienced before. But for you to really reach up to the sky or to really be up there, you need to go back and take these practices that are taught here and make it in a part of your life. And then as time goes by, you will become a more sustainable, consistent faculty of yours, which is going to be the faculty of the sixth sense being really active and a part of your being.